Hello, YouTube. Welcome to my channel, Marriage, Politics, and Sports. I'm bringing to you episode 21 of my Divest from the Democratic Party. This issue was about the debate last night. And if you haven't seen enough, now this is not just because this guy is 80 years old and all that kind of stuff. That's one reason he's needs to rest. I think he showed us that for him at 80, he cannot be the leader of the free world. Uh, Even if you don't like Trump, all ages are not the same. Trump at 80 is a whole lot more spry. He's old too. Well, we'll have enough time for a changing of the guard, and maybe the American people won't even let anybody run if you're over 65, which is cool. You know, whether they let or make that guy the candidate, we should reject the next old candidate that comes up. And right off the bat, they should never get the nominee again. We need to get youth in there, but that's beside the point. And before we get into this, because I got two clips for you. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. It's growing. Just hit 2,000 subscribers, which I like. I appreciate that for the people out there. That means at least a little bit of my content is even worth subscribing to. So I appreciate every subscription I have. And I have some future things to be more professional with this channel as I go on. But in the political front, I've been steadfast. It's not the most popular videos I have because I know most of my audience, everybody doesn't think like me. It's not about me being a Republican. As a black man, I just think that we need to divest from the Democrat Party because in the last 60 years, we haven't progressed as a community. Our community is almost completely destroyed right now because of victimization, because of liberalism, because of high crime, because of all the most terrible demonic things that can happen to a community is happening to us first. So, and I believe the party and the cabal who is behind them, off the backs of our people, have us in a state of perpetual victimization, and it's destroying us as a community. So it's time for that to end. We need to, my goal is to be a part of watching the Democrats lose every single swing state this November. And so we could be free of the bonds, free of the chains, free of those slave-minded liberalization, victimization tactics that have bound us for too long. So anyway, so Joe Biden needs to rest. We need to give the man a break. His wife should step up and say, listen, no more. You know, Joe, hey, yes, you had a nice run. It's time to let somebody else take the reins. That's not for my own personal thing. That's for the man. He can't last another 4 years in office. Why put him through that? Find another candidate to run against Trump. Let me just say, before I go to this thing and show you how bad he was in the debate, I'm going to just talk about the reactions from the conservative side and some from the liberal side. So there's only two candidates that they have out there. One is Gavin Newsom, who's destroying California right now. And the other one is Michelle Obama, which I don't like as a choice because I just think that it's just going to be for show, even though it might help them, the Democrats, save the black vote because black women will vote for her. Even if they were going to vote for Trump, if she comes up, they're going to change their vote back to the Democrats. But you black men out there, do not be fooled because even Michelle Obama, even if she became president, there will be nothing in that party for us, just like it never has been or never will be. So don't get fooled about that. Anyway, so without further ado, the first clip I have up is the conservative reaction to the debate last night and how bad it really was, and how they look. So I'm only going to play a clip, and it's Megyn Kelly, and she has some guests on. I'm going to let them speak a little bit, and then I'm going to come with an ultra liberal from the Young Turks and his take on it. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes of him too and see, so they're all saying the same thing now. It's time to put our president to rest. And I'm not saying this lightly. I'm not laughing at him. But for whatever it's worth, from his hatred of us with the crime bill to where he is now, to what he did to Anita Hill in the well of the Senate, and all those kind of things, that I've never forgiven him for. Whoever else did, I can't believe how so many black people voted for this guy. But the truth of the matter is, time for him to step down for his own health, for the health of the country, for the betterment of us all. Put another leader in there, somebody else besides you. Because if you can't fulfill your duties, then Kamala Harris is going to be next. And that's the last thing we need if she's in office when you leave. Okay? So do us all a favor, step down. Let's run a viable candidate against Trump. And let's go from there. Anyway, so without further ado, I'm going to bring up my videos.
Bonnet for Unheard. They're going to join me in just a minute. But first, I just want to talk to you directly about what we just saw. In my view, it is over for Joe Biden. His presidential campaign came to an end tonight, whether he knows it or not. There will be meetings tonight, first thing tomorrow, amidst Democratic Party leaders about how to get him off the ticket, how to change in somebody else. There have to be. Already we're seeing some reaction come in from top Democrats who rarely criticize the president, suggesting he needs to have a serious look at this performance tonight and assess for himself whether he can go forward. That number will mount. There will be more and more. It was an unmitigated disaster. It was uncomfortable to watch. I sat with my family and friends, and for the first 25 minutes of the debate, we kept grabbing each other's arms. It was so jarring. He was so distant, so frail, so hard to comprehend, so unsteady. You honestly didn't know whether he was going to make it through the answer, never mind through the debate, much less through a second term. The contrast between Joe Biden and Donald Trump has never been more stark. Trump came out calm, cool, collected, in his own. He looked comfortable. Donald Trump Jr. tweeted out, I think actually the CNN format helped my dad. It helped him stay composed and presidential. I think he's right. The inability for him to interrupt Biden did wind up helping Trump. And he maintained his dignity for the most part. He was in control and strong for the entire time, unlike his opponent. I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen a politician at any level perform like Joe Biden performed tonight. And not only do I have questions about whether he will be his party's nominee, I have questions about whether he could possibly serve out his term. He's the president of the United States right now. That man who couldn't spit out numbers or say trillion or billion correctly and lied at every answer because he seemed confused. How is that our leader? How are the Democrats going to nominate that man? And shame on you, Jill Biden, for allowing that. I want answers from all these top Democrats who've been telling us how robust he is behind the scenes. That's who I want to hear from most. You lied. Did you not think this moment was going to come? That we'd never see this? Why did you agree to put him out on the debate stage when you knew what the truth was and that we would eventually find it out for ourselves? It's a dark day for this country. He's our leader. No one wants to see him embarrassed, but we're embarrassed ourselves tonight.
Let me stop it right there. She had some guests on, but you heard her, right? And she ain't saying too much different than what I said. I'm just telling you, this is not good. There's no way you can sugarcoat it. And I'm going to release her, and I'm going to put the other guy up from the liberal side and let you hear how he feels about this thing. So we're being fair game. We're not just talking about, the Republican side. Let's do the liberal side. You might know this guy. He's a loudmouth. His name is Cenk. And let's hear him talk about it.
It's totally over. Joe Biden didn't pick up a single voter there. He lost millions of votes there. He looked ancient. He sounded ancient. Nobody was even listening to what he was saying, even when he was in the middle of losing his train of thought. And you're like, no. But even then, don't worry about it because nobody heard him. He spoke at a whisper. He mumbled so much. He looked incredibly weak. Now, is he actually weak? No, he's old. There's nothing he can do about it. He's 81 and he looks honestly 101. And so all of this time, and I want to give the most credit to the Young Turks audience because before I made my desperate run against him in the primaries, I did a poll. I said, I'm not gonna run if you guys don't want it. And you're gonna force me to do it if you think that Biden can't win this thing. And they voted overwhelmingly, somebody's gotta do it, so just run. We need something different, that you guys were right. You were 100% right.
Yep.
And now everyone is screaming from the rooftops, you were right, Joe Biden is not up to the job. It's the most obvious thing in the world. Now the reality is that Donald Trump had a terrible debate. He said lunatic things nonstop. He said the line, in my administration, we had H2O. And did not follow it up with anything else.
It was true, at least.
Yeah, this is like if you're debating a guy who is saying maniacal things like you're the Manchurian candidate and that other countries are releasing all of their criminals and mental institutions to come running across our border. You have an obligation to kick his ass in that debate.
Yep.
They
So
are
when he
releasing
says
criminals yes,
about
they are.
Biden, he's like a Palestinian. What now, Joe Biden? You've lost 30 points with young voters because how brutal you have allowed Israel to be to the Palestinians while still giving them all that money. This is your opportunity to pick up some of those votes to bring him back and go. Did you just say I'm like a Palestinian as if it's an insult?
Yep.
So then you can go on, and I know you love Israel, and you'll say some ass-kissing thing about Israel. But by God, at least pick up some votes, right? And he just used Palestinian as an insult. I know, look, I know Americans, unfortunately, in general, don't care about Muslims, Palestinians, etc. But at least but young voters do. At least the young voters, pick them up. He's giving them to you. And he can't, he didn't do that. He didn't do anything else. Trump says one maniacal thing after another. Biden comes back, I could beat you in golf. The split screen killed him, John. They're showing both of them. And while Trump is talking, Biden's got his mouth open. Look here, here. On behalf of the Democratic Party, I throw it in. Biden's done. If you go with this.
All right, so that's all I wanted to say about that. I want you to see him throw in the towel because that's essentially what should happen. All right, they should throw in the towel. Give the man a chance to rest, and let's get back to business. Let's put a candidate up there that at least will represent the Democrats, if better than Biden, because Biden will not be able to make it through another 4 years if he wins. And let's be clear, he can still win. I mean, Trump doesn't have this thing wrapped up. I can't stand when people say he does. He really doesn't, right? It's still a big race, even if Biden stays, because American people are strange that way. The folks, even this bad debate, Biden's still a candidate, the people are still going to vote for him. They're not going to vote for Trump. They'll either stay away or they'll vote for him. But they're not going to. He didn't give votes to Trump. Trump didn't lose any votes, but Biden is not giving it to him just because he's performing badly. But the pressure is not going to get less. As we get closer to the election, it's going to get more, and I can't imagine what shape he's going to be in for the second debate, which is in September. That's 3 more months of deterioration, right? What we're talking, what's July, August, and September. 3 more months of deterioration, pressure of trying to perform, and then pressure of the campaign. And then pressure of actually being the commander-in-chief, right? We still got a country to run. We still got, a genocide going on. We still got a war in Ukraine going on and spending a lot of kind of money on that. And it's just too many things happening for for this guy, for the pressure not to build. And his wife, as Megyn Kelly said, should stand up and say, listen, you know what, husband, enough. Enough is enough. You know what? I want to be first lady, but my pride and my selfishness of being first lady shouldn't be above watching you deteriorate like this for all the public to see. Our pain, marriage, politics, and sports. Over and out.